Dzień dobry, nazywam się Tanner Ripley. Miło mi poznać. It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for having me. Were any of you at my previous lecture, the Thanksgiving lecture? Raise your hand if you were there for that. Okay, 2, 4, 6. So most of you are new. My name is Tanner. Moja rodzina i ja przeprowadziliśmy się tutaj około 8 miesięcy temu. Okay, so we moved to Poland specifically. Mieszkamy w Grodzisk Mazowiecku. Proszę? Mazowiecki. Wiecie Mazowiecki? Grodzisku? Anyone been there? Do you know where that city is? Okay. We're southwest of Warsaw, 20 kilometers, okay? That's where my family and I live. I'm going to turn this so just I can see it and introduce you to my family. Thank you, by the way, Pani Agnieszka and American Corner. Thank you, University. Thanks for having me. It's a real privilege for me. I don't know if you came here voluntarily or if somebody made you come, but look, I intend for this next hour or so to be worth it for you, okay? Whether or not the video works, whether or not some of these technicalities iron out, I hope to keep you engaged with me as we track through Christmas. Its origins, its meaning, its traditions. This is my family, moja żona Brooke. We've been married prawie 12 lat, okay? Almost 12 years. Mam 4 dzieci. Oldest, najstarszy jest Harmony. Drugi, Małgosia, Margaret. Timek, who is with me this morning, and Isabel is our youngest, okay? I'm sorry they couldn't all be here. They're excited about this occasion, and we've talked about a future opportunity to do something like this again, perhaps around a different theme of cowboys or the American West or something like this, and on that occasion they'd be able to return. If you read my bio at all, I don't know why this is interesting. It's not to me, but it is to some people that I played American football. I played American football at Montana State University. In America, you know this is the largest sport or the most popular sport. The NFL is the highest grossing sport in the world. There's a lot of money surrounding this, a lot of excitement around this. But obviously, it's not as popular as the real football, right? Piłka nożna? Nożna? Nożno. Dziękuję. Okay, this is the university. This is the first game of the university I played at. There's about 100,000 people there. This is myself on a horse. I grew up in the state of Montana. I'll talk a little bit more about Montana in a minute. But I sort of fit the stereotype in some ways of the American West cowboy. More my father. That would be a lecture for another day. But here's where I grew up. Here's my heritage, my parents. Here's what I want to talk to you about today. My outline is first Christmas in America, and I'll talk to you about the meaning, the traditions, and the origin surrounding Christmas in America. Second, I hope to have some participation from you all, okay? And if you're skeptical about participating with me in this event, I've brought with me some incentives. Do you know what incentives are? Mom candy cane. Okay. I have brought some American candy canes with me, and I'll be giving these to people who are bold enough to speak up in this lecture, okay? Or to ask questions. At the very end, you can see my last point here is I'll give a summary, a quiz, prizes, and then I'll solicit some questions from you all. I want to hear from you. You're going to hear from me for, guess what? We have like an hour together, okay? It's harder on stage than it is in conversation. Godzina. Okay, so first, I need a person who's bold enough to pass some of these out for me. Who would that be? Okay, you can pass the first one out, and then I want some students to volunteer. You get a candy cane for being a volunteer, being willing to pass it out. Santa's helper, excellent. Okay. See how it did me with your decorations, thank you. That one's for you, actually, and then I'll give you one to pass out here, okay? Stere candy canes. All right. So here's my summary, or here's my outline for you today. Christmas in America, and I'm going to spend most of my time on meaning, origins, traditions. We're going to compare and contrast Christmas in Poland a little bit with Christmas in America. And then I'll field some questions, okay? All right, point one, Christmas in America, meanings, traditions, and origins. A lot of what I'm going to do today is just talk through personal experience, things that we did in our family. I'm even at one point going to Zapraszamy nasz pokój. I can't remember the word for living room. I'm going to invite you into our room, our living area, our family area, and walk you through what a Christmas morning might look like. Yeah? Can I start with food? Jedzenie? I like food. I like talking about food. I've given you a picture of perhaps a typical plate in America. Now, one thing you need to understand about America is you know this, but it's very large. In fact, when the thing I've heard most from Europeans who visit the States is they say it is so vast, so large. Well, with that comes very diverse cultures and very diverse traditions, even within the same country. Okay, so not everything that you see in this presentation is going to be representative, obviously, oczywiście, of all of America. But here's not a Thanksgiving, a Christmas plate at our family dinner. Here's a breakfast. I'm cooking on the griddle there. Anybody know what those are? Stovetop, yeah, it's a griddle, and what am I cooking on it? Pancakes, good, naleśniki, all American-style pancakes. They're a little bit thicker. I'm going to give you one of these. Can you catch? Okay, nice. Maybe we'll do it that way. We'll see. What are they in the shape of? A snowman. Who said that? You already got one. Okay, who else? Who's next? Say, jak się mówi snowman po polsku? Good, I'll give you one. Oh, good catch. I believe it's actually the old word. It's not in use anymore, but it's the old word for idol. Did you know that? Okay, so here's a breakfast. We have some French toast, jajko sadzone, naleśniki, bacon. What is that? Pomarańczowa może. Okay, look, this is mój ulubiony dessert. This is my favorite Christmas dessert, and it's one that's not real popular, but my wife makes it. Anybody know what this is in the middle?
Yeah.
What is it?
A range.
Sorry?
It's a range.
A range, good. It is maybe we'd say stare koja. It's a very, very old, maybe it's old by American standards, maybe not here, okay? But it's probably 150 years old. And this is a wood-fired stove whereby we would make, on the left here you have prime rib, which is the supreme cut of wołowina. Tak? Rozumiecie? Okay. On the right I've sliced it in a delicate way for us to enjoy. This is my family, extended family, sitting around the table on a Christmas day, just enjoying some food together. Okay, there's some broad things about food. Let me ask you, what is your favorite? Jaki jest twój ulubiona Boże Narodzenia jedzenie? Sorry? Zdania. Oh, it's zdania. I'm looking for your favorite food in that meal. I'm going to give you one of these anyway for being brave enough. Okay. Okay, I didn't have you guys sign waivers when you came in, so if I accidentally hit you with one of these or it comes into your eye, no lawsuits, no threats, none of that, okay? So just, if you can't catch it, deflect it at least so it doesn't hurt you. By the time I get it to the back row, it's going to be coming. Oh, you'll hand it out up there. Okay. Okay, favorite food, favorite meal. Barszcz? Barszcz. Excellent. I got one of these for you, too. Very good. Good catch. Okay. Who else? Yes. Pierogi. Jaki smak? Jak smak? Kapusta I grzybami. Yes. All right, right there. Good. Yeah. Moje ulubione pierogi jest szpinakiem. I know it's not as popular, but I really like it. Szpinakiem, Serem, tak jest? Pyszne. Okay. What is this? Co to jest? This is the state of Montana. Good. This is the state that I hail from, that I am from. And look, Montana, you can tell by the picture, I showed this at Thanksgiving, is almost the exact same size as Poland, yeah? Montana is the fourth largest state in America, and Poland is almost the exact same size. Only, there's one małe inne. I know my Polish isn't perfect, by the way, but can you bear up with me a little bit? Małe inne, a small difference. Poland ma ile ludzi? Yeah, between 37 and 40 million, depending on how you count it. Montana ma 1 million. Okay? This is a very rural place. Largest city is about 100,000 people. So sometimes in the States, people joke about Montana, but they love it. Montanans haven't been to every other state, but just about every other state comes to Montana because it's beautiful. But they joke that it's very, very rural. And obviously, there's not very many people there, so we make jokes about how do we get places in Montana. Nie mamy samochód, so what do? We just hop on a moose, and we don't really do this. This is a fake picture, obviously. You knew that, right? Some people think that we actually do ride mooses in Montana. We get a lot of snow in Montana. Dużo śnieg in Montana. This is me plowing our driveway, plowing our road to try to just get in. Here's something that's kind of fun. In Montana, around Christmas time, we do a lot of sledding. Jak się mówi sledding po polsku? Chodzenie? Na sanki. Okay, I think you already got a candy cane, yes? Otherwise, I'd give you another one. But we don't just sled down hills, we sled behind horses. So this is one of our friends pulling my kids in a sleigh. This was a cold winter day in Montana. It was negative 24 Fahrenheit. I converted that. You can check me on this, but it's accurate. It was negative 31 degrees Celsius as an ambient temperature on the thermometer that day. The wind chill was about negative 48 degrees Celsius. Bardzo zimno, tak? So what do we do on a day like this? You might think that we would stay inside by a warm fire. Listen, I love warm fires. Don't get me wrong, but on a day like this, it's just too beautiful to stay inside. This would be one of the differences that I've noticed between many Polish people and people from Montana. We go out in the cold and enjoy it. So this would be going out on a cold day and sledding and playing around in the snow. Even though it's very cold, we don't believe the cold is going to make us sick. We want to go out and enjoy the cold, go sledding. Even the animals are tough there. This was our horse, frosted but safe, our dog and my daughter, Małgosia, sledding. We make snow forts around Christmas time. The snow piles up high enough where we can dig. Do you know the word słowo? Let's see. Would it be wieście słowo igloo? Tak? Is it taki samo po polsku? Igloo? Okay, so that works. We'd climb inside of these, put our pets inside of them, enjoy the time. Here's some more pictures of sledding. Here's some more pictures of snow, and I'm going to get into the Christmas tree here in just a little bit. But this picture here on the level was taken around the year 1993, probably. This would be myself in the middle with my cowboy hat, and my two sisters on either side. You can see as part of the American Christmas tradition, we'd often dress up in either cowboy stuff in Montana or dresses. See here on your right, my left, this is myself on a trampoline, showing how much snow there was that day. I think that this is a video. It is.
2, 3.
Okay. Now Nasz pies, psa, może. Okay, any questions thus far? What strikes you as different or unique about any of that? Yeah. What's the dog's name? That's an important question. Dog's name was Remy. If you ask me what I miss most about the States, it's not food. It's not, things you can buy in the store, something silly like Walmart. It is relationships. This has to do a lot with Christmas too, doesn't it? Family and relationships. But outside of humans, the thing I miss most is my dog. Wonderful dog. She would seemed whatever I told her. I say down, she'd lay down right there. She'd stay there as long as I asked. She loved and protected the kids, protected our livestock. Her name was Remy. Thanks for your question. Really enjoyed my dog. Poles enjoy their dogs too, don't they? Do you know that dog ownership in Poland is actually higher than in the States? Yeah. Okay. What do you know about American Christmas traditions? Before I tell you about them, what would you tell me? Besides for candy cane earrings, what do we do in America? Those are great, by the way. I've seen those. What do you think? Anybody know? Good. Well, I'm glad you...
You eat trifle, you drink eggnog.
Okay, we drink some eggnog. We do sing some carols. Good. It's a good thing you're at this lecture if you're not familiar with American Christmas yet. Let's talk about some traditions. Now, I said this, but I just want to emphasize, by way of kind of qualification, that America is huge. And it's diverse. And how people celebrate Christmas, therefore, is also diverse. It depends on whether they see Christmas as a secular time or as a sacred time. It depends on their region. It depends on their religion. But wherever they are in America, I think it's fair to say we've been deeply impacted by commercialism, by materialism, so that some of the significance, which I'm going to draw on today with you, some of that significance has become, you understand, blurred a little bit. I already showed you this picture. Polish and American Christmases share. What do we have in common? Well, we both enjoy Christmas Eve and Christmas Eve food, and both our Christmas traditions have religious roots, and both of us have Christmas trees and singing and Santa. I tak dalej. Did I spell that right? Okay. Not quite? Okay, close. It's okay to laugh at my Polish. I won't be offended, okay? Uczę się polskiego, just like not ty, you all are studying English, understand, right? Yeah, good. Okay, let's talk about where these traditions might differ. I'm going to look at this slide with you. On the left, I have things that are in America. We have big regional differences. We have open one present, usually on Christmas Eve. Just one present, often a gift exchange at that time. And then most of our presents on Christmas morning. We eat meat. I know you don't eat meat. Most families, or some families at least, don't eat meat only on Christmas Eve. We eat it all the time. We do a Christmas tree hunt. Many of us go out into the hills and look for Christmas trees out there. We have an ugly sweater Christmas party. What in the world is an ugly sweater Christmas party? Who knows?
The contest where you judge the sweater you're on, the Christmas one?
That's right. You judge it by what? Yeah, who has the ugliest sweater? It's kind of crazy, isn't it? You want a candy cane? Thanks for your participation, young man. Whose is the ugliest? Because, I'm sorry, I understand that this isn't extremely typical, but maybe I can get away with it because of where I'm from. Young man, I want to ask you about your sweater there. Yeah, it's an excellent Christmas sweater, and it's one that we might wear to an ugly sweater Christmas party. Only, it's not like you'd say, it's ugly not in the sense of like, oh my goodness, what is he doing wearing that? But like, oh, that's a good Christmas sweater, buddy. That's one I would be looking for to wear around this Christmas time. Our children have Christmas sweaters this Christmas We get some pretty wacky ones. Sometimes people dress up as a Christmas tree and they'll wear lights on their bodies, or they'll wrap themselves up like a Christmas present. Okay, we have a white elephant gift exchange. You understand what a white elephant gift exchange is? It's where we all bring a wacky present, and you choose the present, but you don't know what's in it, and then you open the present, and you can trade with somebody. It's a strange tradition, I admit, but it's something we do. We also do stockings. I understand that does anyone here do stockings? Raise your hand if you do stockings. Skarpetka, może? Okay, no one does stockings. I'm going to show pictures of stockings in a little bit. You need to understand that stockings were my favorite present on Sunday morning. It wasn't the one wrapped, sorry, it's harder to use my Polish in front of you all, but I always get choinka and I always get hamster and Christmas tree mixed up. So hamster is choinka, right? Chomik and choinka. You understand how I get those mixed up? I was going to say the present under the hamster, but you understand the present under the Christmas tree. Those are great. But what I like even more is the presents in the stocking. So that's something we do. I won't go through all these because I know you're very familiar with some of the ones on the right. Maybe you practice those. Maybe you do your Christmas that way. Maybe you don't. I want to work into the Christmas tree now. It's a big-time Christmas tree. Okay. Christmas trees were introduced to America by German immigrants. The tradition dates back to the time of even the Protestant Reformation. And some people date it back before then, but it was popularized in that Reformation area by people like Martin Luther, and it was carried by German immigrants to America. Initially, it was borrowed, perceived pagan roots. So some people don't know how to feel about Christmas trees in America, especially those people who aren't sure about where it's coming was. But most people, almost everyone, has a Christmas tree. And so even though the roots of the Christmas tree have some touch point in ancient pagan customs and medieval practices in Germany, they're very popular in America. Almost everyone has them. And in Montana, they're a central symbol of Christmas celebrations. And they are worldwide, aren't they? I mean, we just saw the one at the Warsaw Christmas Market last week. We go out and get our Christmas tree. So these are some pictures that some friends sent me. When I learned I had the opportunity to come and spend today with you, I sent a text out to some of my friends and said, send me some pictures of your Christmas traditions. These are some of the pictures that my friends sent me. You can see they're out cutting down Christmas trees, harvesting Christmas trees. And it's a big deal. We go out and we drink hot chocolate. And here's some pictures. The one with the old Dodge pickup is from my childhood. You can see me sitting in front of my father there. This is my mother and father on the right. Just to the right over my dad's shoulder, there's a little fire that we built in the woods. We finally found the perfect Christmas tree. Idealny choinka, right? Choinka. Okay. And so now we're celebrating with the hot chocolate and a fire in the forest. And then, of course, we go and decorate the Christmas tree. So I already showed you one of those pictures. Here's my dad and I decorating the Christmas tree. Some years where we celebrate Christmas with my wife's side of the family, we didn't have time to go get a Christmas tree, so we would buy one, and we would strap it on the top of our old minivan. You know what a minivan is, right? Okay. I had a hard time. We bought a minivan when we moved to Poland, but it was hard to find. Okay, here's our Christmas tree set up in our house, and this would be our youngest daughter about 2 years ago, just hanging out by the Christmas tree. These were taken last week in Poland. Okay, this is my son Timek. Timek, raise your hand again. What's up, Timek? Timek's up there decorating the Christmas tree. This little ornament here on the left, we brought this Christmas tree decorating is so special to our family that we didn't bring much to Poland when we came, you understand? We moved over here in suitcases. So family of 6, we didn't ship anything, we just came over. But in our suitcases, we reserved room for Christmas decorations. And this one's from my childhood here, okay, on the left. I got this when I was born. It was gifted to me, okay? So Timek's decorating our Christmas tree with some of our ornaments. Every year at our church that I grew up in, we would go on it's not really a sleigh ride, is it? Because there's not really snow. But we would all get on the back of this wagon and we would go around our town and we would sing Christmas carols. As the horses would drive us around, and then somebody would jump off. I'd jump off the stage here, jump off the wagon, and we'd go and we'd run and we'd knock on the door, and then the people come out and we'd burst into song. We might try that later. What do you think about it? I think you were told that we might sing. We might sing if you're brave enough. But that's what we would do on these Christmas Eve occasions, or on Christmas Day sometimes, or on the Sunday before Christmas. Oczywiście, we would make Christmas cookies. We would decorate them. These are pictures from my childhood, decorating Christmas cookies. And now we make gingerbread houses. Okay, I think you're familiar. I know you are, because we were in, nie pamiętam, where is the center of gingerbread cookies in Poland? Is it Torun? Torun. My friend brought me back some gingerbread from Torun. Było bardzo smaczne. That's my two girls wearing renifer horns, all right? Okay. I want you to enter into a crisp Christmas Day morning with you. This was an exceptional Christmas morning, a different one for our family. This is a picture of the barn at the ranch. I'd already moved away from the ranch, but I'd come back with my girlfriend, Brooke, for Christmas Day. And it was a cold Christmas day. I don't think it was 24 below zero, but it was like 10, 15 below zero. We all know that you can be outside for a while, but not forever in that kind of weather. But here's the setting. Are you there with me? Okay, can you just, for a minute, kind of transpose yourself to this ranch in north central Montana? And we get up early in the morning, and I go out and I saddle the horses. And my poor girlfriend doesn't know what she's getting into. We've been dating for about 6 months, and she loves horses, but she's wondering, why are we going for this ride on Christmas morning? She's wearing this big kind of snowsuit you'll see in a minute, and we ride up into the mountains to one of my favorite spots. And when we get up there, I pull out of my saddlebag. You know what a saddlebag is? It sits on the back, kind of towards the kidney of the horse, and it's only about that big, but I have in there my Biblia. And during my dating time with my girlfriend, we had read through the book of Proverbs. Proverbs was written by the wisest man who ever lived. His name was Solomon. And chapter by chapter, we had read through Proverbs during our dating time to talk about how to walk through the world wisely, to navigate the world with wisdom. And we'd finally gotten to the final chapter, chapter 31 in Proverbs. And so we sat down on this very cold day, and we read the final chapters of Proverbs. Sorry. I'm back there also for just a second. And I got down on my knee and I pulled out of my coat sleeve this special box. And I said, Brooke Center, I love you. Will you marry me? She cried and said, I will marry you. And we wept and we cried and we hugged. And it was an unforgettable Christmas day. I reserved it for that day because Christmas is really important for lots of reasons for our family. And then we got back on our horses and we rode down the hill. And my brother-in-law was waiting with his camera. And so as we came around the corner, there he was. That's what he saw. But what my now fiance saw as she came around the corner was this. My family standing there with a sign that said, "We love you, Tanner and Brooke. T plus B equals heart." And here's a picture of her hand. I pulled out on that day some purple roses. I'd given her white roses. I'd given her pink roses. I'd given her red roses at different stages of our relationship. And now I pulled out what I believe to be the royal color, a special, unique color on this Christmas day, and gave her purple roses. And we were married about 3 months later. You see, for that reason, Christmas is also very important to us. That was about the 12 lat temu, as I've just told you. In fact, almost exactly 12 years ago. what I'm about to show you is a little bit unique. Again, America's huge, so I'm trying to cover some things on a large scale, but I'm also trying to be a little bit more intimate with you and bring you into some of our family traditions. Can I do that? Okay, last Christmas, 2 Christmases ago, we tend to try to not get our children tons of presents so that we can remember the real meaning of Christmas. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but we like to get them a big present. And 2 Christmases ago, we got them sleeping bags. That might not sound like that big a deal to you, but our family used to camp a lot, go out in the woods and pitch a tent, you understand, and camp. So they really needed some good sleeping bags. We got them some sleeping bags. They were so excited about their sleeping bags that they actually brought them to Poland with them. Those made them in the suitcases too, I think. And they loved their sleeping bags so much, they said, "Mom, Dad, can we please Christmas night sleep out on the porch?" It was very cold. We said, "Okay, I guess you can sleep out on the porch. I don't think you'll make it very long, maybe an hour or two at most, and I'll put my dog out there to watch you." There they are on the porch sleeping. Wouldn't you know, they slept through the whole night. About 12 hours later, they woke up, and we had a good laugh about it. It's a special memory for our family. We also go and tour and look at Christmas lights. So here's a picture of my teściowa, my mother-in-law, and my aunt-in-law and our kids. I'm driving them around on a bus to look at Christmas lights. I already told you about stockings. Here's a picture of myself and my family. Look, we would get things in stockings that aren't super valuable, but when you're that age are really, really fun, like chapstick and pasta do zębów, toothpaste and things like that. We love these stockings, man. We would creep down the stairs on Christmas morning, and the stairway was covered with pine boughs, and the stockings were hidden behind them. And I would wake up. Do you do this? I don't know. I would wake up at like 4 in the morning on Christmas, and I couldn't go back to sleep. And I'd get up, and I'd look at the clock, and I'd go back to bed, eat a dispatch, but I wouldn't really sleep. I'd just lay there nervously. And then finally, 2-3 hours later, Mom and Dad would let us get up, and so we couldn't peek over the stairs. We'd slowly come down the stairs, and then we'd look at our stockings. And in our stockings would be pomarańczowa, pasta do zębów, probably nothing very valuable, but for us, for some reason, that was really valuable. Here's another picture of something that was a Christmas tradition, a little bit unique to us. We would go to, outside of Sunday mornings with the church that I gather with, this is my favorite place on earth. This is a cabin up in the mountains where we used to go and take a sauna, and then we'd run out from the sauna and we'd go jump in the snow, or we'd jump in the cold water, or we'd take a shower in really cold water. We'd always do it between Christmas and New Year's. My dad and I would play grama na karta. We'd play a card game called cribbage. Anybody know what cribbage is? No, it's okay. We would go up to this cabin, spend time up there. Okay, I'm going to go to point number 2 now, participation in some celebration. But before I do that, any questions about what I've covered so far? Which is another way of saying, who would like a candy cane? Okay. Questions, observations. What strikes you as kind of weird, unique, different? Co myślicie? Yeah.
In Poland, we have the Wigilia.
Yeah, tak.
And is there like a central, I suppose, dinner in American Christmas?
Is there something comparable to kind of the Vigilia? Yeah, it's a good question. So, sorry, jak się nazywa? Kasper. Kasper, thanks for your question. You're just racking up the candy canes, buddy. Okay. Is there something comparable to Vigilia? Not in the exact same way. I'd say most families have a big evening dinner on Christmas Eve, but it's not set with some of the borscht. Understand that carp is not as common anymore. It used to be 12 meatless meals, those kind of things. But then usually our biggest meal was on Christmas afternoon after we opened presents. Okay. And then that meal would kind of stretch throughout the day. It was a longer meal, and then we'd take a break for a couple hours, and we'd really eat like pumpkin pie, apple pie, Special pies, always my moja babcia would make them. Yeah, good question, Kaspar. Did I say it right? Kaspar? Okay. Anybody else? Questions? Comments? Please. Pani.
As far as Christmas tree and the tradition of it,
Yeah.
in Poland we used to have a tradition of decorating the Christmas tree on Christmas Eve. I know that in America you celebrate Christmas tree much longer,
Tak.
meaning
Tak.
it lasts almost a month,
Tak.
right?
Tak jest. Dokładnie. It's right. So, because Thanksgiving was here for last time, uniquely American holiday, obviously, but as soon as Thanksgiving's over, it's like, here's Thanksgiving, Christmas. So, I like Poland, where there's kind of like this slower on-ramp to Christmas, and there's a little bit of preparation. In America, sometimes it's like whiplash. It's like, okay, we just ate the turkey, and now it's Christmas. And Americans sometimes argue about, can we start Christmas before Thanksgiving? Some of the decorations start to show up at the stores. Some people are we call them Scrooges, where they're like, no Christmas music, nothing until after Thanksgiving. There's always a debate in our family. Can we talk about it? Can we say the word Christmas before Thanksgiving? But everybody agrees, as soon as Thanksgiving's over, it's like, go get the Christmas tree, start setting up the decorations. And we leave the Christmas tree up through Christmas. Some families, though, take it down pretty soon after Christmas, whereas in Poland, you're going to leave it at least until Styczeń Siódmy? 6th? It's 6th of January. Whereas people are almost always going to take it down before New Year's in America. We leave it up longer because we really like Christmas trees. Yeah.
Put a star on our Christmas tree or an angel?
You put what? An angel or what? Or a star. Yeah, that's good, Timek. Thank you for your comment or question. That's this moje sin. He's making an observation. Sometimes people put an angel on top of the Christmas tree. Sometimes they put a star on top there. We have an angel on top of ours that one of my wife's family members made it. So it's very special. We brought that with us to Poland too.
I hope that Tim will get a candy cane.
Oh, yes, Tim needs a candy cane. Oczywiście. Dziękuję. Okay, this is going to be more risky because we're moving farther back. I'm going to try not to hit the aparat. You guys protect yourselves, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Not too bad. We'll take it. Thank you. Oh, you didn't get yours. I am sorry. Pani Agnieszka, I am so sorry. For you, yes. Yes, thank you for your question. Thank you for helping my son. Do you guys do a star or an angel? A star, okay. Everybody? Okay, any other questions on traditions? Those kind of things? I'm going to go to the next slide to give it time to load. Please, your question.
So do American moms just right before Christmas go crazy about home cleaning and cooking, or is it just a Polish mom thing?
Dobre pytanie. Do people go crazy before Christmas, cooking, cleaning, getting everything right? Or is that just a Polish mom thing? That's a funny question. No, I think when you're having guests over, when you're getting everything ready, it requires so much preparation. We would go through that too. Everything's clean, a lot of cooking and preparation for the days before. Maybe not to the same level, but maybe. Probably depends on the family. Who knows this song? Joy to the World. Okay, a few of you do. I see my son and maybe 3 or 4 others. This is a song that I've loaded on YouTube, and we're going to see if we can't maybe sing along to this song. Okay? I'm going to sing part of it first, just so you know what it sounds like. And then I'm going to ask you to, I know this is going to make you uncomfortable, but I'm okay with that. Okay? I'm going to ask you to stand, and you can try to sing it with me. The music's going to play. The words will be on the screen. Let me give you a little bit of history of this song. This song was written by a famous American composer named Isaac Watts. Isaac Watts. Isaac Watts wrote a number of important Christian hymns. This was one of them. We sing this at Christmas. In fact, I looked up some statistics. It might be the most sung song around Christmas time. But it was actually not written for Christmas. It was written on the occasion of Jesus' second coming. He came first and was born in a barn, where we say manger. Really, this is a barn with animals. His second, and it was in humility. We'll talk about that more in a second. His second coming will be in glory, and this hymn writer, Isaac Watts, wrote this song, Joy to the World, for the occasion of his second coming. It has become a Christmas song to celebrate his first coming, okay? It's a bit of a British phrase, if you can bear with it. I don't fancy myself as a wonderful singer, but on this occasion, I'm willing to sacrifice so you can know how the song goes, and then you can sing it with me, okay? The song goes like this. Joy to the world, the Lord has come. Let earth receive their King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Okay, you ready to join me? Oh, thank you. Bardzo dziękuję. That's very kind of you. Okay, would you stand with me for just a moment here? And I want you to do your best, okay? Okay, we'll see if this loads. If not, we'll just do our best and you can sing. Oh, here it is. Okay. Gotowe? To the world the Lord has come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. Good, verse 2. The Word, the Savior reign. Let men their songs implore. Fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains. Repeat the sounding shore. Repeat the sounding shore. Repeat the sounding shore. Verse 3. Rose grow, the thorns infest the ground. He longs to make his blessings flow, far as the curse is found, far as the curse is found, far as the curse is found. Rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love. Oh, very good. Look, you can be seated. Wow. I am very impressed. Great job. I don't think I just heard the kids on the screen. I think you guys were smiling and singing with me. Great job. Pani Agnieszka, what time o której godzinie koniec? 11:30, and it's 10:30. Okay, it's okay. I'm just gauging how much time to spend on some of these songs and some of this media. I think it's going to load. I'm just going to give it a little bit of time, and so I'll talk in between, yeah? It's working. Thank you for your help. Bardzo dziękuję za pomocna. I want to show you, starting with oldest to more modern, look, the way to be introduced to culture, if we can call it that way, is often through music and film. And I want to give you just some short introductions to some American films through which you'll get a better feel for Christmas. Does anyone recognize this first one just by picture? I would be very impressed if you did. I don't expect you to. who this is? Did you say Frank Sinatra? Not Frank. Bing Crosby. Oh, I am so impressed. How did you know that? You can have another one. I don't think most Americans would know who this is, but an older generation, a prior generation, would have watched Bing Crosby, and this is called White Christmas. This is a man who can sing. Okay?
No, I would expect the music reach holiday. This is what we intended to put a little promise in it. So I said we're going to sing this song at the end.
Okay, you get the idea. Listen, probably nobody your age has watched this in the States, but I'm trying to back up a little bit to some older traditions and memories of Christmas, and that's some beautiful harmony, isn't it? Okay, Bing Crosby, though few people would know this video today, or film today, Bing Crosby is a voice that you can hear on American radio a lot this time of year. Pop quiz. What year did the original Home Alone come out? Let me talk about, we're in an academic setting for a second. So let me just introduce some of the things that I heard in academia surrounding Christmas and things like that. Theories on the origins of Christmas. Bear with me for just a minute. I heard when I was at university, Christmas is just some Christian groups sort of baptizing pagan origins like the solstice celebration or some of these other Roman or North African events, and then putting kind of a Jesus tint on that. Well, we don't have time to dig down into the roots of that and the credibility of that, but I would challenge you to. What are the origins of Christmas? So I think you have two choices to think about. One, Christmas is just this kind of family, Christian, all that stuff's in the background. We just adapted ancient pagan things. Or there's actually some factual history to what happened at Christmas. So look, I love the Grinch as much as the next person. And it's fun to talk about tradition. But today I'm talking to you also about not just traditions, but origins. Where did all this come from? One option is to say it's just a Christian adaptation, it's a fairy tale. The other is to say there's factual history surrounding this. So let me just at least say that we can tell from some of this manuscript history surrounding 250, 196, 128, that Christians were celebrating Christmas as a holiday as early as the 2nd century AD. Okay? So that's within a century of the writing of the New Testament. Christians were commemorating Jesus' birth long before the formal establishment is December 25th as a holiday. That happened in 336 AD. What about Christmas? What happened in that barn 2,000 some odd years ago? I've given you a verse to help you think about what are the origins of Christmas. You may think, Tanner, okay, what you said before is funny. Now you're talking like a madman. You can think that. I certainly can't press anything upon you. But I'm asking you to think with me critically, to use your minds as students. You are either in high school or at an academic institution of higher learning, where I'm challenging you to think. Think about whether this is true or false. Here's one verse that I think encapsulates Christmas. 2 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 9. For you know the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, that though he was rich, yet for your sakes he became poor, so that by his poverty you might become rich. What does that mean? I just dropped you kind of out of the sky into a 1st century letter by a man named Paul that he wrote to a church in the ancient city, a region of Corinth. And he is giving them a synopsis, if you will, of what Christ has done at Christmas. Let me just break this down in 4 ways for you. What happened in that barn? This verse talks about Jesus' riches, Jesus' poverty, our poverty, and our riches. By Jesus' riches, what Paul means is the pre-existence of Christ. I'm giving you some new vocabulary, some novo suovo here. The pre-existence of Christ. Jesus left, Bible teaches, and I believe, the riches of heaven. There was a time when time was not. In Genesis 1, it says, in the beginning. So there was a time when God chose to create everything. But before that beginning, God existed in unity, in harmony, in the Trinity, and a happy, joyful, harmonious relationship. And Jesus was there. So when I talk about Jesus' riches, I'm talking about the glories of the relationship within the Godhead. Too glorious for me to illustrate this morning. Let's just say, not just say, but I'm teaching you that Jesus was before the barn. He was infinitely rich. Not in, what is this, gotówka? Not in cash, but in spiritual riches, in communion in the Godhead with the Father, with the Spirit. At Christmas, what happened? He took on poverty. The one who created the world is suddenly leaving the riches of heaven, and he's being born where? In a barn with animals. Some of you are not so far removed from caring from animals that you can't understand the dusty, dingy state of a barn. Not just the barn, but he lived an ordinary Jewish life for about 30 years. And he was introduced into the poverty of the world, not just money poverty, but even spiritual poverty. The third point there is our poverty. The Bible talks about our fallenness, our spiritual indebtedness to God. See, around Christmas, there's a lot of good joy. But sometimes there's this kind of almost letdown after Christmas as the realities of the world sink in, and there's a temptation to say, the problem is only out there somewhere. If everyone would just behave themselves and be a lot nicer, everybody could just get along. But I think that misses the point that there's also something wrong with our hearts. And so Jesus left the glories of heaven, assumed poverty, so that our poverty, our sinfulness, could be covered in his riches. And I've given you there the word redemption through the cross. See, the cradle in the manger without the cross is no Christmas at all. It's not just about a barn. It's also about a perfect life, death, resurrection. It's the whole package in Christ. Let me read to you this poem from E.S. Eliot. What I'm doing here is challenging your English in an extreme way, isn't it? Because I'm giving you now poetry as well. Thou didst leave thy throne and thy kingly crown when thou camest to earth for me. But in Bethlehem's home was there found no room for thy holy nativity. Heaven's arches rang when the angels sang, proclaiming the royal decree. But of lowly birth didst thou come to earth, and in greatest humility. Here's just my synopsis. Christmas teaches you, if you've never heard this before, or reminds us of Christ's descent from the riches to poverty, so that through faith, believers might ascend from poverty to riches. And I don't mean material riches. You understand that? Some people are out there saying, hey, if you follow Jesus, you can get rich. That's all just a lie and a fad. This is talking about spiritual riches that are the person's who believes in this, their riches forever. I've given you one more poem here. I'll read 2 stanzas of it, and then I'll move on, okay? Christ is born, tell forth his fame. Christ from heaven his love proclaim. Christ on earth exalt his name. Sing to the Lord, O world with exaltation. Exaltation. Break forth in glad thanksgiving every nation, for he has triumphed gloriously. Man in God's own image made, man by Satan's whim wiles betrayed, man on whom corruption preyed, banished from the hope of life and salvation. By Christ today is made a new creation, for he has triumphed gloriously. That poem is about 1,300 years old. It's as true now as it was when it was written. What do I do on Christmas Day? Well, often you'll find me in the church preaching. Estem pastorem. And so one of my greatest privileges on Christmas is just to open up God's Word and preach it. Okay. If you have questions on some of that, I'd love to hear from you afterwards. We can talk. But I want to, as I said earlier, bring you into the closeness of our living room. Okay? I brought you up on the mountain with my girlfriend, then fiance, now wife. Now I'm inviting you into, Timothy, does that look familiar? Yeah, that's our living room, or our old living room. We have a new one now. And I'm just going to walk you through our Christmas morning a little bit, okay? Again, America's huge and diverse, but this is how we've chosen, and many families have chosen to celebrate it. We wake up dark early, we call it, and we start with the stockings. Brooke and I, make a nice cup of coffee, and we take down the stockings. We've packed them full the night before. The kids get them out, lay them on the table. They spread out the little goodies. We laugh, we joke about what we have and what we gave each other, those kind of things. And then we pull around and we have a nice breakfast, śniadanie. And we take our time with breakfast. We talk about things that we're grateful for. We talk about the presents that you can't touch, things that you can't hold, but that you nonetheless have. Some of those spiritual realities that I just talked about a moment ago. And then I open up the Bible and I read from Luke chapter 2. 2,000 years ago, true today as it was then, it's the story of the Christ child, God and man, born of all places in a barn. And we do that because we just want to remind ourselves, with materialism all around us and commercialism all around us, about the most poignant realities of life, death, Christmas, all those things. So we're just going to take time passing the Bible around and reading the story in Luke 2. And then we're going to pray, and then we're going to sing, and we're going to take time to go down and open some gifts. And as I've said, often we just have one larger gift. We'll open that, and then we'll spend some time playing card games or just enjoying one another. At that point, we'll often invite other people over, and we'll get ready, to your point, to that big afternoon meal where we now need to kind of clean up and do some dinner prep. And I think this is just the most intimate of mornings in our home. And there's gladness and joy, not because of what we're about to get, but because of the spiritual reality of what we already have through faith by grace. That's our living room. Another picture of our living room. My mother-in-law, Moya Testjova, will often gift the kids pajamas on Christmas Day, so they have a new pair of pajamas every day. That's a Christmas tradition in different parts of the U.S., and there we are cuddling by the fire. Timothy, anything that I missed on our Christmas morning that you need to add? Okay, thanks, buddy. After the Christmas trees are not under the hamster anymore, Christmas tree, after they're not under the Christmas tree anymore, we'll often go and invite people over, go visit people. Here, the picture on the right is visiting some people from our church back in the States. This is Joy and Bruce, good friends, a blind couple who we love, and we would go visit. We set up their little Christmas tree for them. This was just last year. Okay, let me try to give some summary thoughts here, and then a quiz, okay? Let's see. Muy buono. I've only given away 1.5 boxes of these. I still have 2.5 boxes, okay? So you guys are going to have to get active. You have an opportunity here in just a second with a quiz, okay? So I have a 10-question, I think it's about 10 questions, 10-question quiz, and I will give you a candy cane if you even raise your hand and attempt, okay? That's how benevolent I am, all right? You know this word benevolent? Is it okay, kind of this, just throwing out some words for you to learn? Benevolent is like a warmth, generosity, love. That's how I want to be. I think that's how God was when he gave his son on Christmas. So I'm about to give you a lot more of these, but let me give you first some summary thoughts, okay? Here's my take on the traditions of Christmas. We are free to enjoy. We're free to enjoy these, but we're also free from these things. The commercialism that captivates, the friction that divides, and the traditions which distract. It's wonderful to have Christmas traditions. There's nothing wrong with them. But I just know enough families and have counseled and been with enough families that there's also sometimes some friction on Christmas, isn't there? And so family that doesn't always get together is suddenly together, and they have different worldviews or different thoughts on how they should do things. And so sometimes there's friction on Christmas. And I already mentioned the distraction of commercialism that captivates our thoughts. My wife studied in Salzburg, Austria. She studied international business and marketing. And so we know a lot about marketing and advertisements. You understand the whole job of marketing is to get you to want something that you don't have. That's the only goal. And they're really, really good at it, right? And it's this whole science, and so they're good at it. And I'm just begging you, whatever your Christmas tradition is, to be able to enjoy those things without being captured by them. Traditions can be good. They can also distract from what I believe is the sum and the substance. So I just wrote, signs and symbols can be helpful so long as they don't obscure the substance. I'm playing with words a little bit there. Are you tracking with me? Let me read it again. The signs and symbols of Christmas can be helpful so long as they don't obscure the substance of Christmas. The real reason for Christmas. What are the origins of Christmas? What is most essential when you strip away the tinsel, when you strip away the wrapping paper, when you strip away the bows and the ribbons and the trees and everything else that sort of evolved over time? Those things are fine and they're fun. What is it at its most base level? Well, it's Christ. It's Christmas. It's in the name. There's freedom to realize or remember the real meaning of Christmas, which is Christ. I'm having fun with you today, but I also can't help just try to bring some reality. I don't know how old you all are, but when I was 15 to 22, those were the most formative years in my life, without question. And they were also some of the most difficult. But I just wish that somebody would have said, Tanner, take time to think about the deep realities of life. Quiz and questions and prizes for the brave. You ready for this? Buckle up. What was the highest grossing Christmas movie of all time? Who's got it? Was that you, sir? Way in the back? It was Home Alone. You nailed it. It's the Polish one. And I think that's partly why it's so high grossing, is because it's played again and again. Yeah, okay, that'd be great. Thank you. That would be a great time for me to not shatter the Christmas candy cane on the back wall. Okay? All right. Can I have another volunteer? Student this time. I can pick one, or you can volunteer, either way. Okay, thank you very much, young lady. Appreciate it. Thank you for your boldness. And let's do one more as well, okay? One more volunteer who's brave enough. Where shall I put? Yes, please. Okay, I have time for some questions at the end too, and you'll get a candy cane for asking questions as well. Okay, you're right. It was Home Alone. Very good. Question number 2. Which U.S. state was the first to declare Christmas as an official holiday? Washington is a good guess. It wasn't Washington. Anybody else? Who can name the 50 states, right? Any other guesses? Montana is a good guess. It wasn't. Unfortunately, it wasn't Montana. I think this was before Montana was actually a state. It was Massachusetts is a good guess, but it wasn't. No. Whoever's guessing, they can get candy canes. You got it? Okay. Texas was not. No, also a good guess. Everything's bigger in Texas. Also the Christmas trees. Other guesses? Pennsylvania, good guess, but it wasn't. It was actually Oklahoma. Oklahoma was the first state to declare Christmas. Who invented electric Christmas lights? Because what was it before Christmas lights? Electric. It's candles. Very cool, also very dangerous, okay? Anybody? Edison, oczywiście. Thomas Edison in 80. Okay. Next question. What well-known Christmas carol became the first song ever broadcast from space in 1965? What was it? It was Silent Night. Good guess. It wasn't. Jingle Bells. Good job. It was Jingle Bells. Next question. Which popular Christmas song was originally written for Thanksgiving? Trying to combine last time's lecture a little bit with this one. What was originally written for Thanksgiving but is now for Christmas? These are hard questions. Americans wouldn't know these. Jingle Bells. How did you know that?
I'm just smart.
You're so smart. I'm impressed. Okay. All right, you get a whole case of candy canes for you, all right? All right, what is the best-selling Christmas single of all time? Not Jingle Bells, though I could see why you would think that. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. It was White Christmas. Good job. Okay. And, sorry? Oh, right there. Yeah, right there. All right, what is the most recorded Christmas song of all time? Sorry? Good guess. It's not that. It's one that we haven't done yet, although it was given as a guess earlier. Santa Claus is coming to town. Good guess, Timothy, but it's not that one. Okay. Thanks, son. Did you have a guess? Sorry. No, just an itch. Okay. Oh, sorry. Please.
Well, I didn't guess anyway, but...
Okay, you get a candy cane at this point. Candy canes for everyone. It was Silent Night. Silent Night. Most recorded of all time. Okay, and what holiday drink is traditionally made with sugar, milk, and eggs? Eggnog. Raise your hand if you've had eggnog before. Okay, yes. Well, you're in the States. Can you get eggnog here anywhere? I don't think so. Can you? Okay. I don't know. Maybe 1/4 of American families have eggnog, if I had to guess. It is the most calorie-dense drink in the world, I think. I had a college teammate, and to put on weight, he would drink eggnog, because you could get like a carton of eggnog, like 3,000 calories just in a carton, you know. We really liked eggnog anyway. Okay, that's the end of the quiz. We had questions. Who's curious enough or bold enough to ask some questions? Still have candy canes? Yes, sir.
Can you maybe remember what was the most shocking difference that you personally saw about how someone celebrates Christmas in the U.S.?
Thank you for your question. Dobra pytanie. I'll repeat it to make sure I understood it. What was the most shocking way we saw someone celebrate Christmas in America? You know, what comes to mind is some of the Christmases that I spent. One Christmas I spent working at a soup kitchen, or a place where people come who don't have food, don't have family, don't have money, and otherwise they wouldn't have eaten. And I did that as a very young man, perhaps 11 years old, if I had to guess. So you could say, that were they celebrating Christmas? It was so shocking to my 11-year-old mind, because again, we stepped away from everything that we normally did, like the presents, hockey skates, all these presents, to just kind of embrace this. And then I think last Christmas, where we spent some time with our friends Joy and Bruce, that blind couple, just a lovely couple. Bruce, both of them very bright. Bruce graduated from an institute of higher learning, I think German studies, fluent several languages, and just learning about their lives. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had any family that day, and they hadn't been able to set up their Christmas tree because they couldn't see. And so I think just, stepping away. from some of that. Thank you for your question. Other questions? Did he get a candy cane? Okay, you get a couple for that. That's a good one. How old was I when it was my first Christmas? Thank you for your question, Timothy. Timothy, are you motivated by the candy canes or are you really curious? I love you, my son. Thank you for your curiosity. My first Christmas, I would have been około ma 4 miesiąc. I would have had 4 months. I would have been 4 months old because I was born in the 8th month and Christmas 1987. I was 4 months old. Does that answer your question, Timothy? Okay, good one. Who else has a question? Yes, in the back. Oh, thank you for your question. Have I had an opportunity to participate in a traditional Polish Christmas? And if I have, was there something that I would like to take from it or borrow from it? It's a good question. In 2019, we were in Poland for 2 months, December and January of 2020. And so we hosted it, but we did it with Poles and Africans, and I believe there's a Chinese and other, maybe 6 or 7 different nationalities. But this Polish couple helped us celebrate it in a way that was very traditional, which was special for us. Pierogi, barszcz, nie pamiętam, białe bread, opłatnik. So I have gotten to participate in that. And I think probably my favorite part of it was the diversity of foods. We had the traditional 12 no-meat dishes. And because I'm somebody who really enjoys food and exercise, I tend to exercise a lot right before Christmas. And then when Christmas comes, I just like sit back and enjoy, you know? And like I love trying different flavors. I said this at Thanksgiving, but I really enjoy Polish food. We had a wonderful Polish dinner with Veronika last night, and Timothy said, what are we going to eat? And I said, I hope Polish food. We had jej babcia's pierogi jabłkowe. Może? Bardzo smakujemy, pyszne. So I enjoy trying different flavors, and it was more fun because I think some of those different nationalities brought foods from their countries. I love international context and meeting people from other nations. So, excellent question, young man. Perhaps a few more. Any questions down here in the front, or you, young lady? Any other state-specific Christmas tradition? I wouldn't, except for that I studied this a little bit before I came. In Maine, where there's a lot of lobsters, they do something like lighting candles on lobster traps or something like that. In parts of Texas and New Mexico, there's, where the Hispanic population is larger, it'd be more of a traditional Hispanic food setting there. We had in our Protestant church in the States a gal from Italy, and they always ate out at a restaurant on Christmas. She said, I'm always cooking, I'm always doing these things, I'm going to take Christmas off. Every year they would go to a restaurant, so somebody else would cook for them. Obviously in many of the states they don't have snow. So Texas last year, I think in Houston, got snow for the first time in, you can fact check me on this, but maybe 20 years or 50 years. So those are huge celebrations when they get Christmas, snow. As I said, it varies a lot between whether or not somebody believes this is, Jesus was actually born on this day. That dictates how they celebrate Christmas. So, yeah. Whereas I think my sense is, after being in Poland and studying Polish Christmas, it's a bit more uniform in its traditions, a bit more, the expectations are there. And a wonderful Polish couple invited us over this Vigilia. We'll celebrate with an individual from Rwanda, Poland, Texas, and Middle East, gal from the Middle East as well. So we'll get some more of that barszcz. We helped make, what are the small ears? Wushka, thank you, that go in the barszcz. Last week we made some of those. It was very, very fun. Other questions? Thank you. Yes? Oh, my zodiac sign. You know, honestly, Nivium. I don't even know.
What is your birthday?
August.
I know that
Oh,
August
7th. Sorry. Yeah.
Leo.
Leo. Okay. Well, now you know, and now I know. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's okay. Nothing is off limits for me. I have nothing to hide. You're welcome to ask me any question at all. Okay. Even if you think it's embarrassing, I won't. Okay. So, questions? Final questions? Yes. What is my favorite what? Dish. Thank you for asking. Moje ulubione jedzenie w Boże Narodzenie jest prime rib, wołowina. Can I tell you how I prepare it? Okay. My mother-in-law usually buys it, or my parents, because it's quite drogi. It's quite expensive. Drogi, thank you. I mix up drogi, drugi, some other words. It's quite expensive, but we buy it like a week before, and then I cover it with coarse salt and pepper. And I massage those things in and other herbs, and I leave it uncovered in the fridge overnight. And then I put it in the oven on very, very high temperature, which kind of crisps the edges. And then I bring it down to a very low temperature, and I bring up the temperature very slowly, Nivium stopni Celsius a la Fahrenheit. I bring it up to about 127 degrees, 130, and then I bring it out and I set it on the counter for about 10 minutes, and it continues to warm up to about 135, and that's perfectly medium rare in the middle. Now the outsides are going to be medium well to well done. The inside's going to be rare to medium rare, and that way everyone is happy because everybody likes it a little bit different. But then I slice it about that thick, and horseradish, and Brussels sprouts, and sweet potatoes. Yeah. Ja lubię prime rib. Podoba mi się to. Nie, smakuje mi? Smakuje mi. Lepsze. Okay. Yes, sir. Why did I move to Poland? Common question, bardzo ważna question. Jestem pastor protestancki. I moved to Poland because I love Jesus, and there was a wonderful local church called Pojednanie Kościół w Grodzisk Mazowiecki, where I came to serve with other brothers. It's a Polish church. Someday we hope to start an international church in Warsaw or Wrocław or some city, an English-speaking Protestant church, America. I came to Poland because, look, you asked the question, so I'll just be honest with you. I know this could be a little bit sensitive in a academic institution, but I actually believe this is true. I know. You might just think, that is so wacky. Are you in a hole, or, you know? But God wrote this through people. And if it's true, then that changes everything. If this is fake and this is just, people just made this up and it's all a bunch of fairy tales and it's full of errors, all the things. I went to school from the time I was 6 to the time I was 34. Doesn't make me intelligent. I'm not saying, degrees. You can have more degrees after your name than there is degrees in a thermometer. Doesn't mean you're intelligent. It means I studied this. I studied animal science in college. I think I became a Christian when I was in high school. Went to school, thought I was going to be like a veterinarian, rancher, somebody who worked with reproduction in cattle and embryonics. God radically changed my life. If this isn't true, man, throw it out. Do something else. Forget about it. I'm wasting my life. If this is true, if Jesus was really born in a barn, if he did really die, if he actually came alive, that doesn't just happen. That changes everything, and it changed my life, and so that's why I came. So thank you for your question, because I believe this. I hope you don't misunderstand me. I'm not pressing that upon you. I'm not like, hey, if you don't believe this, you're a dork, and I don't like you. That's not me at all. But you asked, and Jesus changed my life, and I repented of my sins. I believed in him, And I spent 12 years in pastoral ministry in the States. My family and I decided to move here, and we plan to stay here a long time if you will have us. Okay. Any other questions? Maybe one more? We're almost out of time, so one more, please. Do we dance on Christmas? Fantastic question. My wife and I often dance, and I almost put in a picture of my sister and I dancing as we were growing up. So yes, and do you dance on Christmas? Yeah, I thought you might say so, yeah. Yeah, we do dance sometimes on Christmas, though we might have to learn some of your dance moves this Christmas if we get to be around you. Okay, not every Christmas, and not like they do on Home Alone, but we do dance. Okay, look, you've been wonderful students, very attentive. Thank you for your questions. I'm going to put some of these at the exit. Thank you. Thank you. It's very kind. You're welcome to stick around if you have a minute, or you're welcome to leave. I still have a box, so you can grab some on the way out if you haven't gotten one yet, okay? All right, thank you for your time. Dziękuję bardzo.